think the problem, so again, remembering that I started in policing when policing was, mostly physical for the most part, really, and how threats have evolved. And one of the things, unfortunately, that I see, and it is getting better, people are starting to understand that your threat isn't going to come from one. It isn't just going to be digital, isn't just going to be physical. And so what we're seeing is this sort of like a nexus of where everything is meeting. And so if we keep thinking of things in silos, so people do think of it in silos. You have your sort of your digital, you have your, I mean, I'm going to throw national security in there because that really is an undercurrent for everything. But you also have physical threats, and you have the people threats. So with people threats, you have things like insiders. You have, and I don't mean insiders just as in malicious. I mean accidental insiders, people who don't even realize that they're the threat, like you're the vector. And so what happens when you put all those together? And the reason I use FIFA as an example, and why it was so important for me to share that at the B-sides, was because when you think of it in that scale, to that scale that FIFA is going to be, for the first time we have 3 countries, first time ever. First time we have 48 countries competing. So it is an incredible number of people all converging and a whole bunch of threats converging. And I go back to what happened with each event, each large scale sporting event, whether it was FIFA, whether it was the Olympics. And with each one, you're seeing a greater and greater convergence of how these threats are working. So I'll give you an example of something that, from Paris. You had misinformation and disinformation being utilized very effectively. And we live in a era, unfortunately, where even really terrible false information spreads like wildfire, and you can't unring it. Like it's like ringing a bell.
And what's an example of
So
or
so one of them,
usually used?
yeah. So at Paris, one of the ones was a nation state had sent out a bulletin that looked very official. It was a CIA bulletin, and it was all about it was the highest level of threat, warning people to stay away from the trains, the metros, because the trains were having we're under, it was like an imminent attack on the metros. So if you're a tourist and you're there from the US, you're going to be nervous about this. So now add to that mix, they had sabotage. So they had physical sabotage. Then you also had the misinformation. So you had the disinformation campaign with the fake CIA bulletin. Now you're having it spread like wildfire because everyone's sharing it thinking it's real. And so now you've got this perfect mix, and then physical sabotage on the trains. So all 3 of those come together to make for a very difficult situation.